guys, what is going on? We're going to do some more artwork today, so give me a moment here. If you want to skip ahead a minute after the intro stuff, I don't blame you at all. I will see you after the bump, but I need to check in on my signal, make sure my volume's coming through okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty solid. Cool. We'll let that be. And now I just need to do some fast social media posts with the link that we now have for this live stream. That'll take just a hot second. My name's Phil Kearney. What's up? I create role-playing games. I illustrate them and I publish them online. And I'm creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition using the new 2024 rules for an adventure in the Eberron campaign setting called Crystals of Mabar. You can see the book cover here on screen. We are a couple weeks away from finishing this adventure, publishing it, and starting something new. If you've been around the channel before, I do artwork in the mornings, Monday through Friday like this. On Mondays and Thursday nights, I do game design and writing for new books that we'll be illustrating in the future. And on Saturday mornings, we've began a new series. We'll be working with the Magic the Gathering Color Mana system and martial powers for 5th edition for characters to be mana-based instead of spell slot-based. If you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. Here's a stack of books that I've already published on the DMsGuild that all have 100% free preview. They're chock full of my art and ideas. If you're a D&D enthusiast, check them out. You can read through them, and if they add value to your game and your time using 5e, then consider making a purchase to it would encourage similar behavior from me in the future. So that's enough. That's enough shilling. We get the book cover out of the way. This is page 59 in the document. We're inside the underground facility. This is an armory, and this is a spare room. And that's used as an airlock to get from the clean air environment into the poisonous fog-filled region of the dungeon. There's a flooded region, there's a clean air region, and then there's a fog-filled region. The fog-filled region and the flooded region have a poisonous gas in them that causes exhaustion over time. The clean air region is maintained. Here's the image of, but later we have an illustration of the magical wind vein that produces a clean air zone. You can see here this transition from clean air to fog filled with these crates that are blocking the path. This is basically, don't go past here. We can't wall it off, so we're just going to put a cheap little empty box barricade here and set up a wind vein. This wind vein cuts off the tunnel from having the fog float down into this area. Beyond this point is a fresh air region that's easy for everyone to breathe. And then we have the airlock situation here that's used for harvesting material on the other side. This is almost like kind of like the in-between, or the upside down, if you were to think about Stranger Things, where there's grit hanging in the air that when you get into your lungs, it forces constitution saving throws, or you get a degree of exhaustion and poison. And we have a breathing mask that you can use using exotic materials that prevents you from being poisoned. So there's a reason for players to loot bodies to get the exotic materials that they have on their bodies so that they can protect themselves from the poisonous environment. Yeah. So we're working on this is that 16 by 9 format that we use for digital. It's a PDF product. It's only PDF, so it's built for PDFs. It's a 12-point font, super easy to read. Everything is going to be hyper navigated inside of here, where you'll be able to like along the bottom here. These icons are all different sections of the adventure. And these icons correspond to indicators earlier in the adventure that you recognize that this is the village, and this is the forest, and this is the cemetery, and this is the flooded fort, and this is the gatehouse. And then this is part 3 that leads to the ritual nexus, where the Mabar artifact is at, and they have appendix A, B, and C. And then you have your hamburger, part 1, part 2, part 3. So all these things provide different pieces of information as you move around. So these are your large milestone locations to move throughout the adventure with. But we have these little corners down here that are empty. This one doesn't really warrant like a really detailed illustration or anything, but you can see it kind of looks bare. So I want to put some sort of a texture effect or like throwaway item or just something to occupy that space to keep it from looking so void. You know what? What we can honestly do is my idea is to lean on the fact that this is detailing the armory. The armory is full of weapons and equipment that can be used for training and equipping the character, equipping soldiers or mercenaries when they go out on patrol. So there's a unique weapon that we designed for this adventure, and so let's go grab that and make an illustration with that weapon, since that's I believe something that's in this room. Grappling glaives, yeah. D10 plus 10 grappling glaives detailed in Appendix B below. This should be highlighted. I'm going to put a circle around that because this should be highlighted, or rather, this should be in bold. So I'm gonna put a circle around it. Maybe outside of it. There you go. Appendix B. There you go. That will give us indication that I need to go and make sure that this is. It should be bolded in the actual adventure, but or in the final text that we have, but it's not here. So this means this is actually. That's right. This means this is an old page. So this is page 59. I actually do need to peel up the document to make sure that I didn't add any additional lines, that the space that we actually have at the bottom of the page is accurate. So let's grab this guy and just kick on down. Where are we at right now? Oh, this is the Forgotten Cemetery. Okay, we'll have to kick way further back in the document to page 59. Too far. Give me a hot second here, guys. Last night I got all the bookmarks hyperlinked for the monster manual, the items and oddities, and the alternate plot hooks. So all that stuff has been bookmarked. Now throughout the adventure, I have to actually build the hyperlinks to bookmark too. So yeah, detailed in Appendix B below, and then we have Area 6 laboratories already highlighted. Okay, great. This is about where we're supposed to be. Okay, great. So I'm going to extract this page as a PDF. So go to More, and then Export as a PDF. Page, we'll change it to page 59 because that's where we're working right now. And then our options here, and I legit, I use Microsoft Word for all my page and layout design work. It's a free program I have access to just because I have it from Microsoft, so I don't need to pay for a fancy program. Hey, what's up, Cummins? Engage and publish. So we'll publish this page 59. We've updated it. And pop, there it is. That's our single page without any kind of background or anything. So we'll close that out. Get out of the way, buddy. Thank you. We'll hit enter over here, or rather save, and get that out of the way. And now we can drop back into here. And let's go File, Open, Crystals of Mabar, page 59. PDF, single page, no background, just text. And you get this no background in Microsoft Word by just choosing background, no fill. So it stays empty, so you can pick it up like a transparency sheet. So we can then get rid of this layer here and make this silent, drop this, and then when I paste in place, since the page of the PDF is the exact same size as the page in the Word, when it picks up the Word, it grabs the whole page where the text is supposed to be positioned. I then drop it here into Photoshop and paste in place. It has the same position. So I can build these dialogue boxes behind the text so that when we pick up this whole page as an image and then drop it back into Photoshop, it'll automatically align behind all the text that we have in in Microsoft. It's super fucking easy to do. I could also do spot illustrations where I cut out this section here specifically, this map portion. Oh shit! I erased something I wasn't supposed to. There we go. Like that. Get rid of the previous layer. There. I need those numbers there so people know which room's which. That's good. Change this to text. Okay, now we can finally get to work. So what I want to do is, now that we've updated this, again, we're filling this little bit here. It's just a little bit too large of a space. Like, I can ignore this. This is just margin. This is fine. But this is too much of a gap. It makes the piece feel, as you can see here, it just feels a little out of balance. So I want to put a simple image in here, and the image I want to use is, since it's talking about a grappling glaive here, which is detailed in Appendix B, let's go grab Appendix B and grab an image of the grappling glaive and just put it in that spot. Job done. So that should be super easy to do. So let's peel this open. Art. Let's go to items and oddities. And damn it. Where was it? It wasn't in that folder. It was doors and things. I think this is where it's at. Nope, it's not. This is the door that we have. This is the type of those massive doors that are on the map throughout the facility. This is what those doors look like. They have a glass that you can see through. The gearbox that's down here on the corner is what you use to either turn it to open it manually, or you can press the button. Pressing the button, depending on how you orient the gearbox, you can press the button and it'll drop the entire portcullis as one action. You can turn the crank to elevate it half and then full as one item interaction and then another interaction. And there's also a locking mechanism. Click, you can lock it so it won't open, or rather it'll stay at the current position, whether open, halfway, or closed. So throughout the facility, there's various doors that are open, halfway, and closed. And if you try to change that setting, it makes a lot of noise, which is going to draw attention to you. Like, who's fucking with the doors? Why are they messing with? Like, we shouldn't have somebody making a transition into the fog for like another 20 minutes or so. Somebody's off schedule. Go check it out. So like, there's ways for your team to, through their ignorance, to give away their position by fucking around with stuff. But this is not what we're looking for. So let me see if I can go find. I've poorly organized my information here. Creatures, flora, items. It should be in items and oddities, but it's not. Intro, plot hooks. Let's try Act 3. Nope, not there. Creatures, environment tokens. I don't think it's in the environment tokens. Cobblestone path, manifest zone, puddles, hazard tokens. Sorry, guys. I'm off kilter / off script right now. I feel like, where the fuck is that stuff? All right, I'm wasting time. The real answer is supposed to be go to fucking production. I haven't built the folder yet, so it's not there. So I want to go to page 86 to 88. It should be items and oddities. There we go. New items and oddities. So let's go to this page here. Here's your grappling glaive. So it's a martial melee weapon, heavy, has reach, it's two-handed, and has the graze property. The weapon is a glaive with a lariat threaded along the haft. As an attack, you can use the lariat to grapple a creature of medium or smaller size, and you can use a bonus action to automatically hit a creature grappled by the lariat. You can't use the glaive to attack other creatures until the grapple ends. It's a pretty kick-ass little weapon. We did a little illustration with it. Here's our magical bonfire. It's basically a log that just stays on fire for 8 hours, and then you can do it again the next day. Gate seal runestone from the gatekeepers. It's a 10 by 10 block that it starts off as a pebble. When you flick it at a manifest zone nexus, it'll then turn into this massive 2-ton anchor that shuts down the manifest zone. It's a gate seal. It seals off the gate. Here's an image crystal that holds images that is given to you by Ader Academy for you to gather evidence of crime activity happening where the artifact is found so that they can prosecute the necromancers that are performing the ritual. We just looked at the grappling glaive. Magical cooking implements, as long as you keep the implements within sight, you can order it to carry out any recipe that you're aware of. It's basically a specialized unseen servant inside of the item. And then here's a magical wind vane from the side. The apparatus is 10 feet tall, appearing as a vertical shaft of metal with fan blades atop spanning 5 feet. As an object interaction, each round a foot pedal can be operated to rotate the fan, creating an outward wind that duplicates the effects of a wind wall spell emanating 20 feet from the center of the device, and all within the emanation receives the cleaning effect of the prestidigitation cantrip while the apparatus is in use. So this is basically a portable clean room that they have set up at various points throughout the facility, and then you cast Unseen Servant to operate the foot pedal. One of the Ader Academy interns that are doing alchemist stuff in here, one of them, they're on rotation, so basically like every 6 hours, one of them has to come by, spend 10 minutes, basically spend an hour going in rotation, casting Unseen Servant on each of the wind vanes so that they keep pumping. Or if somebody's being punished, if like one of the mercenaries being disciplined, instead of Unseen Servant, they'll just force that discipline, that mercenary to pump a pedal for 8 hours. It's like, and then we'll cast Unseen Servant and relieve you of duty. But that's a form of torture, because you can't just have people running around inside the manifest zone; they'll get killed. So instead, calisthenics and punishment is you gotta pedal the wind vane, and if you don't, everyone around you gets poisoned and your food gets ruined. So pedal the fucking pedal. So okay, these are the items. So let me go ahead and duplicate the grappling glaive. Duplicate, and we'll just drop into here. It won't. I guess we'll do better than just completely cheesing. I don't know. Maybe we will completely cheese it. Anyway, let's make sure that it's been transferred. There it is. Now we can close this folder. No need to save. Hey, look at that. It fits. So not to be completely cheesy, let's build a rack for it to sit on. Or yeah, it has that rope effect. That rope effect's a pain in the ass. If I were to if I were to tilt it, there's not much room inside here for it to tilt. So there's no real reason to do that. But if I were to, like in another illustration, stand it up on its end, this rope is now going to go slack and hang down along the haft. So that's not going to do us any good right now. So I'm just going to take this as it is, put some little clips, a little bit of a wall texture behind it, and then we'll call it done. So we've got 50 minutes to basically do some wall texturing, and we can move on to the next piece. Like I said, sometimes these things don't take a lot of time. We're just occupying space. And see, now it feels a little bit more balanced. So let's just merge this down. Yeah, this weapon allows characters to get a way to make grapple attacks without having to expend a full action using the grappling action, and it doesn't penalize you from taking it away. And once you have something grappled, you can automatically hit it with your bonus action every round. You can still make attacks with it, but you're grappling with it in a ranged weapon. It gets a little clumsy. Hey, what's up? Hey, Fox, it's good to see you, my guy. So this implement allows you, this glaive allows you to initiate grapple and still be able to attack the target that you have grappled. And you can have multiple people grappling, which means that if you get a couple of these roped onto a big bad undead, you've got like 3 or 4 mercenaries that all have this thing grappled, and now you're all sawing on it as bonus actions. They could be doing four people with reach could do 4d10 damage per round automatically as bonus actions to keep that undead wrangle and just slowly saw it in half or cut off its head. That's kind of what the idea behind this item is. So if the team wants to pick it up and make use of it themselves, it's a really useful device. Why are you being cantankerous? Let's do that. Disable repeat. It's on shuffle. We already heard this song. Thank you. Let's go to this one. I like this song. There. All right, we're all rearranged. Okay, great. So we have a grappling hook. Let's go with... what do I want to do? I want to... Let's just grab that color initially. I'm going to change my eraser 100%. Square. Square. Copy, paste, transform. Flip horizontal. Okay. I ain't gonna fight it. Push down. Let's do like this. Not the same layer, Kearney. You know better than that. I'm just doing some gentle construction here. Shadow off a little bit. Just clean up that edge, Jesus. Where's that coming from? Oh, that's my margin. Crazy. All right, well, hey, good thing we're here. There. Some of our transparency wasn't transparent. Some of this background was showing through. So that's where that artifact was coming from. That looks pretty good, and now let's further embellish. %. Okay, cool. Let's make this one 41%. Yeah, the words aren't flowing through me today. They were flowing yesterday like crazy, but not so much today. That's okay. Participation is not mandatory. Yeah. Let's keep that. Let's keep that, but get rid of the shadow on the shaft. There we go. And then... Just grounding the object so it's not just floating in space. That would look a little garish. I don't like how this is turning out. Let's kill that. And grab this. Paste. Transform. Flip horizontal. Copy, paste, retransform. Flip horizontal. Down, duplicate, %. There we go. And then we're going to add a little bit of wood grain. I just heard this song. Why are we looping? Oh, I actually turned repeat on. Disable repeat. Thank you kindly. The grill song, but I don't need to hear it another time. Variety, y'all, spice of life. All right, so we're going to do some texture. So let's grab here. Let's push up the red a little bit. And let's get into a line. Here's how I do wood grain. Yep. This is how we do wood grain. So we basically fill in a rough wood grainish sort of look to it. And then I take a smudge brush and I wibble it up and down. And then I erase at some parts of it with a light eraser just to make it a little inconsistent. And there you go, wood grain. Just wibble it a little bit back and forth like yonder. What is going on? My phone's doing something weird. Okay, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Cool. All right, yeah, grab and wibble. So take some of the edge off of it, and then we'll smudge at it with a little bit with an eraser just to take off some of the edge. I had when I was growing up, I lived in we had a finished basement in our home, and I lived down there, and the walls were covered in this fake. It was probably like plywood or corkboard or something weird, but not corkboard, but I don't know what the material was. But the texture on it was wood grain, and it was a very sharp contrast. Like bright green, dark brown in the nooks. So like all these little dark nooks and stuff that we're building. There must have been 200 panels that were running around the entire. It was all the walls. So anywhere you looked at the walls, you saw this crazy paneling, and it was really relaxing on my eyes, which is why I like to be down there. It didn't really reflect light; it kind of absorbed the light, the brown going on. And but I had so many hours of staring at walls. I just kind of think about plywood pattern, like wood patterns like this a lot. I don't know why. It's just like it's something about it just kind of burned into my brain and in the back of my head. Anyway, so Bob's your uncle. There you go. We're going to do some here for the vertical lines across here as well, because also wooden. So we just thread some lines in across from here. It doesn't matter that they're behind the glaive. We're just making organic shapes. I just can't hit that mark. I can't hit that mark to save my life this morning. Jeez, Necro. Yeah, I'm. Ugh. Come on, Kearney. Okay, this is probably sufficient line work anyway. So let's go ahead and again increase the size of our smudge brush and just pull up these lines. I'm just grabbing sections. I'm using when I press down on the shift button, it locks it in either as a horizontal movement or vertical. It won't allow diagonal movement. So when I hit the smudge brush, I hold down shift and then I press and squirm back and forth like this. It smudges out the strength of the line. It causes it to fade in. I'm going to add another one in here just to burn it out a little bit. So I'll press down in different spots and then lift up again. And it creates a new point of reference for it to wriggle back and forth to disperse these pixels. And that's how I make the wood grain texture that I use. There we go. There. Subtle little pattern. It's just a little bit of texture to break up the shape so that it's not just a block of color. We'll add a little bit into here as well. Oops. Wrong layer. Let's go here. That. And we can use that texture as part of our shading technique. There we go. We're almost done with this piece. And then we'll move on to the next one. We'll roll random dice and see which page pops up, and then we'll go to that page and we'll do whatever needs to be done on that page, and we'll review it. We'll assess what information is on that page, the size of the space, make sure it's a current page, and yeah, we'll move on from there. So I'm happy with those. I feel like I want to add grappling blade. I want to add a little bit of extra dimensionality because of this these prongs that it's sitting on. I want to make sure the item paste, retransform, flip horizontal. There we go. Down. There we go. Copy and paste. There. More grounded. Okay, cool. So that's all the stuff that we need for this. Grappling blade. Merge those down. Glaive. And then we're going to take all of this and we're going to blurp it into the same folder here. But now we need to do the texture on the wall in the background. Yeah, it feels well balanced. Cool, let's just leave it like that. Okay, now we'll do texture. Just basically breaking up the background color so it doesn't just look like it's floating on the page. Although vignettes by definition are illustrations that float on the page, if I had left this glaive just as a free floating self-standing object, that would technically be what a vignette is. A vignette is basically an illustration that isn't in a specifically contained environment. All right, there we go. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. I just needed to smudge in some background. And we'll probably have some drop shadow. That. There we go. They have all these little workbenches and weapon stands and armor stands and weights. It's I'm sorry. It's not. Yeah, it's an armory, but it also can act as a basically as a training area. Same thing. Yeah. These are little. These are pitons that are driven into the wall that have a light spell cast on them, like permanent light. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 pitons that have a 20-foot radius. So between the 4 of them, they can fill up the space. So like you have like this little pocket here of space between the light that the pitons don't quite catch in bright light. So this becomes dimmer light area. You have pitons off screen here. So basically, as they went through this dungeon, everywhere that they went, they would just drive a light piton into the wall. So that as they proceeded through and took over different areas, they continued to light up more and more of the dungeon. If you're a moderately high level group that can cast light spells and permanentize them. I believe the just the light cantrip can put a permanent light on something. So all you gotta do is just basically traipse through an environment and just take the time to drive the pitons into the wall, and your dungeon becomes well lit without you having to. You always know where you came from because there'll be pitons on the wall that are lit up, and if any of those pitons suddenly become unlit, you know that something's back here fucking around with you. I'm going to layer in just one more layer just to darken up this bit over here before we move on. There we go. And then let's lighten that a little bit. My eye. All right, we're good. How's this looking? How's this looking? Those are good contrasts. So it's got a red twinge, it's got a blue twinge, and it's got gray. I bet there's decent color separation here for you guys looking at it. To me, it's all just grayscale. I don't see any color, but I'm pretty confident it looks the way that we want it to, right? Oops, let's not do that. Let's actually grab this color here real quick. Perfect. I just wanted a little edge down there to help separate the background. Let's actually do that for copy paste for transform. Got this little nibbly bit over here that's poking out. I wanna clip that real quick. Oh, we still have some smudge in the background. Let's clean that up real quick. Where are you at? Cool. Okay. I'm going to call that good enough. Check. Not to overcomplicate things for myself, but let's just go ahead and overcomplicate things for myself. Open this back up, and what if I were to duplicate the group and... It has less dead space this way. I kind of like that. Or rather, instead, maybe we drop this down a little bit so it doesn't need... There was a blank space down here that was bothering me. So I'm like, what do I want to do about that? The answer might be nothing. The answer may very well just be don't do nothing. But I am going to take another hot second here and fuck around with it. Just wanted some additional contrast. Just throwing in some texture, just some color wash. Again, I just want to break up. I just want to break up the staticness, and so having some just subtle diagonal lines creates a sense of motion without actually doing anything. It's just a trick of the eye. It creates direction. There we go. And then I want to continue taking this and fading that out into the background here. There we go. That feels better. There we go. Better. All right. We're going to leave that be. I mean, it's not amazing, but whatever. We're just filling space. What's our next one? Let's see. There is page 54. And that could be fun to work. Let's go over here and acknowledge that we have finished this piece. Where are we at on time? 7:30. We still got 20 minutes left. So let's take a look here. Eastern bunker door. The eastern wall is a massive 20-foot wide iron door towering the full 20 feet from floor to ceiling, fused with rust to the grooves carved on the floor and walls to saddle the massive metal block. The door leads to the flooded passage. Part 2, Region 3 area. Okay, so I've reworked this one as well. This is page 50. I know it's been worked because the areas aren't being highlighted or are bolded. They probably should. So there may have been some text modification that changed the space here. So my due diligence requires me to pop open page 54 of our document and copy it in. So let's go to page 54 and copy it in. And we'll just work 54 right now, and that's just what we'll be. And then when we finish this one, we'll do a random. There'll be 15 left after this one, so we'll just roll randomly to see what our next page will be. But for now, let's just go ahead and grab 54 like we have a purpose. That should be here. If the door is open, part 3, region 11. If the door is opened, area 3 flooded, 12. That's right, because I didn't want to highlight all of these, just the ones where you're going to actively go to. Okay, great. So, yeah, so this page is still good, and I'm going to grab it and extract it anyway, just because it's fun to do it. So create PDF. I'm going to call it page 54. Page 54, and then we'll go to options. Is current page document. Thank you, timely timer. 20 minutes left on the block. Documents. There. Publish. Single page pops open. Thank you. Hit save. Close this out again. Jump over here. File. Open. Take us to the Crystals of Mabar, page 54. Single page PDF, transparent background, text only. Exact same size page as what we're currently operating on. So let's scroll down here. Bloop. There you go. Yeah, same positioning. No. Text. Vignette. Let's see. The door to area 4 is opened. Let's see. If the door is opened, so this door here holds back all of the flooded water that's in area 2. There's a huge tunnel, hundreds of feet long, that is just absolutely full of water. So the opening mechanism for this door is in the gatehouse, or rather is in the here. In the siege tower. This straddles on top of the door that was in the other, downstairs in the other room. On this side, it's the tunnel leading out to the flooded fort. On this side is inside the facilities. This is a mostly covered murder hole that you can, that's a separate piece in the actual map that you can lift off and remove to open up. But you can see here indications of water underneath it. That water line is only 2 feet away from the ceiling. It's 20 feet deep. So if this door gets opened, this is where this is the door mechanism that's used to open this, but it's been sabotaged specifically to prevent it from being opened. So you can use tinker tools or thieves tools or mending spells to repair it if you want to. And oh no, you can't use mending. It's 2 damage for mending. But fabricate, a 4th level spell slot that you could have access to at 7th level. It'd be exhausting. I mean, it'd be an expensive spell to cast, but you could fabricate to fix the lock, or use tinker tools it's like a DC 20 to fix it. But if you do, you can open the door. So if you open the door, this door opens. All of the flood water pours into the room. And so if the door is opened, area 1 is flooded 4 deep with water. And this is area 1 here that will flood with water. If the door is opened, area 1, flood water with the deep with water, excess draining northeast through here, through these fissures that pour into room 12, which is already a flooded grotto that we illustrated earlier, actually last week. Access northeast into area 12. It takes 10 minutes for the water to drain from area 1 into area 12 and 13. The mechanism that operates the door is located upstairs in area 2, siege tower, as detailed below. If the door in area 4 is opened after area 1 floods, which is the this leads to area 4, which is the commons hall, like the commons room, the mess hall, and the barracks where everyone sleeps. So you'll ruin their day if you break that door and then open up the barracks door.
Area 1, 4. Okay, so if you open the door to the barracks after flooding Area 1, the water disperses into Area 4, flooding 3 feet deep into Area 1 and 4 in 1 minute if the door in Area 5 is closed. Area 1, 4, and 5 will flood 2 feet deep in 2 minutes if the door to Area 6 is closed, which separates the lab from the store. Room 4 is the barracks. Room 5 is the storeroom. Room 6 is the laboratory. So if you close off the storehouse when it starts to flood, both Area 1 and 2 will flood 3 feet deep. If Area 5 remains open, the storeroom remains open, and you close off the laboratory, then 1, 4, and 5 flood 2 feet deep, and Area 1 to the western hall, so basically all the way out to where we showed you earlier, where that clean air and that barricade was at. That entire tunnel will flood and then pour around into the manifest, into the flooded zone area, which is 6 inches deep in 3 minutes, including Area 7 if that door isn't closed. After 4 minutes, the flood in Area 4 through 10 becomes damp, with excess water seeping into cracks along the thick stone. So basically, it creates a momentary flood of water that drenches everything and then just naturally just seeps down after a few minutes to drain away into the fissures, cracks in the foundation, etc. If the door to Area 3 is open, Area 1 and 3 flood 3 feet deep in 1 minute. If either the north or west doors in Area 3 are opened, the surrounding halls between Area 9 and 12 flood 1 foot deep in 2 minutes, or 1 minute if both are opened. The floor from Area 1 through 11A becomes damp after 2 minutes, the rest running off into Area 12, seeping into its cracks. So it's just a momentary flood to open the door, but now everyone knows you're there. It could be a great distraction if you need it, but that's something that the players can find for themselves. That's why I wanted to install this. If you open that door, it causes massive chaos. So that's something that the team can take advantage of. But now we have this little corner here, so now I feel like I want to do an illustration of the door opening and flooding the region. So let's do that. I don't know if this is going to go well or not, but we're going to start with the door here, and then it extends off at this diagonal. How about reflecting the second shaft? Could look good with the ropes not in the same vertical line. Oh, I see what you're saying. Flip them around. Yeah, I think I like where. Sorry, I didn't see your text until just now. I'm lame. Sorry about that. But I'm pretty happy with how it sits. I could go back and look at it. Let's go. Okay, so we have our door here, and then it just goes along the passage here, and then there's a 5-foot door here. Much bigger than that. Burp. Sorry, I get bad about my corners sometimes. I don't notice text going on. I'm the worst. I feel like I want to drop this down a little bit. Yeah, I like how this is sitting so far. Yeah, this is the general gist of what we're looking to do. Just grab this for now and shape it around. Figure out what this is actually supposed to be when we get there. But I have this, like, you know, this tidal wave that's splashing through that door. I think this is a fun little piece. All right, we know what that's doing. Let's go over here, mess around with this a little bit. Let's just drop it to black. Down here. That perspective might be a little off. Let's see, maybe we can foreshorten you a little bit. That feels more natural. Merge down. Merge down. Now I need to foreshorten this a little bit. Let's curve this down a smidge. Free transform, skew. Yeah, that feels about right. All right, let's let that sit. Put that in. This should actually be on a separate layer. Where'd you go, buddy? Cut, paste. There we go. I guess we can just grit this out as just a general background. That'll end up working out. Let's do that. These lines are a little heavy-handed, but we're going to the focus will be the flooding water for all the dynamic actions. So we'll be able to fade out, reduce the line weight here by dropping the opacity to push it back. But for now, it's useful. So let's just leave it be for now. Just add this color in here for texture. So far, so good. So let's add in this. darker towards the edges and work our way in. Go like that. So far, so good. So what? Okay, separate layer. Let's go to black. There's no light in this tunnel other than there's not even any fungus growing because the water line is so high. It's kind of choked off the vegetation. So eventually it's like at a 7 degree, maybe like a 13 degree grade. That slopes 100 feet over 100 feet deep over 600 foot breadth. So it's a 600-foot tunnel, and it's got undead in it, and it's different points are choked up with a Vulcanolitharia that causes the sicken hazard. At a certain, like after a couple hundred feet, I think after like 400 feet, you reach the water line where the water has been pouring into this tunnel and slowly filling over time. So now it's just a massive fetid pit of gross rancid water with undead in it. Drowned assassins specifically. So they'll crawl along the ground. They can't swim. Drowned assassins can't swim. So there's a bunch of them underneath the water here. So they'll creep up to like at different points in the tunnel we have mapped out. It shows like at this point there's undead here because they're 5 feet underwater. They'll grab at characters that are trying to swim past and drag them underneath and attempt to topple and grapple them so that you have 0 movement and you're stuck without movement. So you're stuck at the bottom of the water, drowning slowly while you try to fight your way free of this mob. Meanwhile, they're chewing on you and cutting and scraping at you and trying to kill you while you're trying to just get away underwater. Super fun stuff. Super, super fun stuff. One of our teams went into the flooded tunnel, and once they saw the water line, there's a similar garage door at the other end of the tunnel that has been tilting up that leads to the surface. That's what this flooded fort is actually for. Is basically a secondary gatehouse that leads like into an underground garage, basically. So the whole topside fort is there basically to defend that garage door. And so once the team got down into the tunnel here, and they found the water line, and they realized that it could go hundreds of feet, they backed out of the tunnel, got that outward facing garage door open, and then they got a cart, and they brought the cart down to the tunnel, and when it hit the water line, the cart floated. So they basically created a raft from a merchant cart. And floated that all the way down. And when they did, once they got to the bottom, they only had about they had to push the cart into the water so they could hand crawl along the ceiling with them laying on the back of the cart along the ceiling wall. And then they found the grating that leads up into the guard tower. And so one of them was a druid, so they wild shaped into like a mouse or whatever, and squeezed through the little crack that was open. And then dropped the wild shape back to their normal human form, and removed the lock on the gate, and opened it up. And so the whole team infiltrated the facility through that that little that guard tower that straddled the door. So that's how they snuck in unnoticed, and they saw that the mechanism on the door was broken, but they didn't want to mess with that because they were trying to be stealthy, maneuvering their way through the dungeon. That was really cool. That was really cool. They had trouble opening the door, but one of them actually had brought block and tackle with them. One of the gals that was on our team, on one of the teams that was playtesting it, she was like a die-hard dungeon delver. Like she knew about using crowbars, 10-foot poles, block and tackle, and all that shit came in handy while they were exploring the dungeon. It was like, oh man, that's some smart shit. Well done, sister. It was super cool. It was super cool. It was fun watching different teams take on different portions of the adventure, and the problems, the way that they came up with problem solving was super cool. Super, super fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to DM this. All right, it's 7:53. It's about time for me to bail for the day. But I want to work on this water piece with you guys. So I'm going to tonight off screen. I'm going to focus on finishing up the bookmarks and start launching into the text hyperlinks. And we'll come back and we'll work on this illustration some more tomorrow, because I think this is going to be a neat idea. Like with this water flooding out of the chamber, I don't have to have a lot of detail in the room. Just demonstrating what the flooding of the bunker door looks like. So I think we'll have a little bit of fun of doing some tidal water, some fizzy, foamy type stuff going on, splashy bits. I bet it's going to be a lot of fun. So this is where we'll stop for now. We'll pick this up tomorrow morning. I'm out for the rest of the day. Thank you for folks that swung by and said hi. I appreciate you guys being here quite a bit. And again, I do this Monday through Friday in the morning. I do game design on Mondays and Thursday nights. This Thursday night, on Monday, we built a 60-mile asteroid community, like a forest and fields and stuff on that, and did all of the logistics for how that community would be self-sufficient. And we were successful in building that out. We have 5 other communities of smaller sizes that are in the same asteroid cluster. We're going to do that same icosohedron, the D20 laid out into 20 into 20 triangles. That's how we make our asteroids. So you can check that out, that Spelljammer Eberron asteroid stream. We're going to be doing the same on this Thursday, building more asteroid communities with the resources and stuff, basically built on this like 40, 50, 30, 20 mile sphere. And how does that work as like a little, like a micro world. So that's what we're building. So we'll be doing that on Thursday. Saturday morning, we'll be doing Color Mana and Martial Powers content. And with any luck, we'll have enough people to play Strixhaven Mage Tower 5e Combat Rugby with me on Discord on Saturday. We're playing 7th level characters, a couple hours worth of rugby matches, basically scoring points or trying to kill each other, same or each other, whatever. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. I'm out of here. Thanks a lot. Bye.